Hello everybody, my name is Aceface. We're going to be testing out a Muninn in T5 Dark Abyss. The Muninn with the Uprising expansion has been altered slightly. It's received some better shield resists and also armor resists, and as well as it being a more missile based ship rather than an autocannon based ship. So we've been previously doing tests in the T4 Darks and I thought they went really well. There were some rooms that could be slightly deadly. The explosive based rooms such as marsh rooms, they could be a bit deadly. We did however did not overheat anything. We didn't use any boosters with no implants at all. This time we're going to up our game by using more expensive armor repairs and see if we can go for T5 Dark. So we're going to remove these Tech 2 armor repairs, see if we can get some like light bling. Corelum, let's see, what could we use? We could use Corelum, or we can use Corpum. Let's use a Corpum one. I wonder if we can fit. Yeah, we can fit a Corelum and a Corpum. Or we can go for a dual Corpum. Let's buy one of these. Oh, they're a little bit expensive. What is the price of the Corelum? Gonna check what price is this. 79 million. Okay, it's a lot cheaper. We'll use a bit of a mix of both. I'm just using what modules I can find here. Okay, so the dual webs is pretty powerful. I'm wondering if we would want to go for perhaps another cat battery here, because we can actually fit a medium cat battery slotted in here and have just one web. I think it might be an option because the Muninn has so good application. We could actually just test it out just for some survivability, but at the same time it's going to, this thing is an absolute beast where it's got two webs. Let's go risky style and just go in like this, and then if we see that it gets a bit sketchy, we'll just go and put a cat battery, because I'm just worried about newts. So we've got the chaotic dark. Great. We've got ammunition, we've got boosters here. And we'll also get we don't need to have the crash booster because we've got really good application. Okay, so we're going to go to a 0.6 system that is closer to Jita. I think we can find one if we go to move a island and then an adjacent system, I believe. We'll test out. Oh, we've got some structure damage actually from our previous encounter, because we did take a ton of damage from this marshal before. But now we've got more tank. We have got more tank. It's just great that we've got this reactive armor hardener that helps us a lot. The capacitor is unfortunately not that great. Not that great at all, actually. So an option would be, if we want to be more cap stable, is to put a medium cap battery. You could also put a cap recharger, something like this. But I was thinking we put something like this: medium cap bat with the Republic Fleet medium. It fits very nicely, gives almost the same amount of gigajoules per second, but we're going to be a lot more newt proof because we've got two cat batteries. This I think will be really good if you've got problems with newts. We will have a bit of trouble with application though, so I'm not sure how that will go. We could perhaps replace one of these with a polyboss. That could be a thing. Okay, let's get Para, Anaro, Maurasi. We have. I know there's a system called Van Kalen that's pretty close. Van Kalen. Go here. That's 0.6. Is 0.6 adjacent to that? Itama. Okay, we'll go to Van Kalen. The Polyboss is a ballistic control system that gives some buffs to our missile application. Let's just see here. This one here. MKEKB. This improves missile damage, velocity bonus, and rate of fire. So we get. Do we get extra range? No, we don't get extra range, just velocity bonus. But this could be something to have. The velocity bonus then improves the application, I think, because of explosion velocity. Does do a bit less damage though. But I think if we were to go with a single web, then it might be an alternative. I just worry about newt, so I think we'll be alright. If we have newt problems, then we'll just go for dual cap batteries. It should be okay. But T5 Dark in our fit that is not particularly expensive, 520 million ISK. I'm very curious to see what happens here. I should, to be honest, do more testing in the T4s, but T5 testing is also going to be pretty fun. Being able to use cheap ships in T5 is really great because of the ISK you get from T5 being really significant. Let's go. Let's see if we can find a citadel that's close to a warp gate so we can just quickly go into it before we go to the next system. Because it can be like a quick stop where you can repair our ship hull. 2.8k buffer, or HP buffer with armor. It's alright. It can be more though if we were to be like a Gila 4k natural HP buffer. Okay, there's no citadel here. Maybe if I go to Van Kalen, there's a citadel. We can also reload to the explosive missiles, because they usually are good to use in the dark sides if you've got bonuses to every type of missile type. Good against Druglavians, I think rogue drone battleships. Just overall a good damage type to have. Okay, now we're here. Look at local. Okay, we do not have any citadel here. In fact, okay, we're gonna have to go and repair here. This is core scanner probes. Okay, let's dock up here. And the main objective in this T5 run is just to survive. We're not going to be like, oh, going for all these extraction nodes and anything like that. We're just going to try to survive. And T5 Darks are not particularly expensive. They're not as cheap as Firestorms. They go for like 8 million ISK. You can see here, 8 million. So it's not that expensive. We're looking, for example, Chaotic, the other Chaotics. Gamma, 14 million. Exotic, 19 million. Electric, 24 million. So it's the second cheapest one after the Firestorms, which are usually the cheap ones, just being overall quite difficult to do. I think a Cerberus could be an option for T5 Firestorm. Blink Cerberus. I really want to test it out someday. Cerberus is not particularly optimal because of the the bonus to kinetic missiles. And in a way, it's not good as well because of having a bunch of range bonuses. The Muninn has a bunch of application bonuses, so maybe if you're in an armor-based Muninn, it could be a thing to use in the Firestorm. We could test it out. Maybe T4 Firestorm actually could be something we could consider. The only problem is the thermal resist is very low on this ship, so we'll have big problems. I think it would be better to go shield-based, but then it's sort of beating the point of going Firestorm. Okay, so this is a pretty bad wave with a bunch of ghosters. Gonna beat these guys up real quick, and we'll switch over. Oh, I think we can take them with even rage because we got a really good application with our Muninn. The Triglavians don't, generally speaking, do a whole lot of damage just because they don't apply too well because of the range penalty, especially when we've got minus 70% range penalty. You saw how quickly that Damavic went down. Even though we've got the guidance disruptors plus the dark side plus using rage and all the remote reps, still we're applying really well with the dual webs. Dual webs are really powerful. Now they are able to, seems like they're able to get the remote reps on them a bit more. Do we have any neuters? Come on, why am I not able to destroy them? Need to use the dual webs. Dual webs, dual webs. Oh, 1k. Yeah, that's what I want to see. That's what I want to see. Those 1k volleys are nice. Let's go to the buy adaptive cache. And we'll go for the Vedmak afterwards, and starving Dama is also good to go for. Come on, take out that Damavic. Can have the drones go for the buy adaptive cache instead. So far, seems like it's going pretty smoothly. Triglavian waves in dark sites are usually pretty easy, so it's not like it's something to be very proud of. Like, as you can see, attacking like no one's business. There we go. Go for that starver. We do not want to get capped out. Keep a range 500. Should be easy now because now we've got no ghosts on us. We're getting full application with the rage as well. Or almost full application. And we're doing explosive damage, which is the optimal damage type against Triglavians. We can even just activate one armor repair. We do not even need to use two because we tanked that well here. Save a bit of capacitor. And deploy drones. Droney drones. Pop to any time soon. There we go. Let's go with the dual webs on these anchors. I can see mass martial waves knocking us out. That can be something that can happen. We just have to keep the velocity up in those kind of waves. Go very fast and make the missiles do as little damage as possible. The time seems to be okay. We're like 3 minutes, I think. Oh, so 3 minutes and 20 seconds. And the majority of the wave is destroyed if we can shoot properly. Not shooting on the right target. Can move around a bit. Sometimes helps a bit, applying a bit better. Okay, now go for this one. Go on, take out that Dama. 1.1k volley with the rage. So can you believe that on frigates? On frigates in a dark side. Ooh, our Hornet's taking a bit of damage. Yeah, it's pretty smooth. Pretty smooth actually. In these Triglavian ways, pretty smooth. big test is the Cinnabar Wave, which I think will go very easy because we've got extremely good EM resist. And then Martial Waves. I think they'll cause some issues. Otherwise, I think we should have a pretty smooth time in the Abyss with this Muninn, based on my experience. Oh, the time is taking a bit long. I mean, this ship has not got crazy DPS. The DPS can be better on the Muninn. I mean, for what it can do, it's got a good DPS. It's got extremely good application, so it can't have everything. But there are other ships like the Cerberus, for example, who have more DPS. But the Cerberus has worse application than the ship, and the resist profile is also slightly different. It can be slightly worse than the dark sides because of low EM resist. Otherwise, it's got a really good resist profile, and then it's also got a lot of kinetic resist, which is very useless in the Abyss. The Muninn doesn't have a whole lot of kinetic resist, which is great. It's not wasting resist on anything. Okay, next room, 5.5 minutes. I mean, it's taking a bit of time, but it's not something we would die to. What is the next room? Mass Kikimora Waves. Okay, these can be deadly, but I think we will hopefully survive. Let's just reload. Go for these ghosters. These can hit hard. Who is closest? Let's go for this one. You have to sort of orbit them, I think. Orbit them, maybe 15 kilometers. Webs. Yeah, there we go, webs. And they should die quickly. The key point is should, but they do a ton of damage. So when they start doing damage to us, it's going to be big problems. So we want to be very careful. Because you can see we're doing a lot of damage to them. So it's alright. Oh, we need to get a bit closer now. Need to get a bit closer, especially when we've got ghosters to causing us to have really bad range. So now it's going to be like a DPS race, because they're going to do tons of damage to us, and we're going to have to use our second armor repair. Come on, move a bit. They're going to have to sort of go in and out of their range. Okay, go for this one. We're going to consume boosters now. Consume boosters, which is the Corelum. Perhaps we should use Caldari Navy, but the rage I think is okay. What is the volley? 16. I think it's okay. We're doing good damage with the rage. Go around. Probably should overheat one of these now. It's just hard to destroy them because there's so much remote reps going on. Okay, let's overheat. We'll try getting out of range. Okay, our drones are getting slapped. Come on, Muninn, you can do it. It's hard to get out of range actually because we've got a lot of these tanglers on us. That is the problem here. That is the problem. But our tank seems to be slightly stabilizing actually, so that's good to see. And we're destroying more and more as time goes on. So hopefully we'll be able to get through this. Come on, take him out. I think now that we've destroyed the ghosters, we're doing a bit more damage too. And there's less remote reps. Remote repairing them. Took a ton of damage to our structure. Unfortunately, that's just the way it is. I think we got through that. Our drones did not. Lost 3 drones. That's a bit unfortunate. But the Kikimora waves are not particularly slow. They go pretty fast. That's an upside to them, but they're very explosive waves, so you can either die fast or kill them fast. Sort of either or. They do put out an extreme amount of DPS. I mean, it didn't help that they had a ton of ghosters, combined with them having a bunch of tanglers, so we couldn't keep range, and we sort of couldn't do damage to them at the same time, because if we had like 9 kilometer optimal range on our missiles, that is really low. Really, really low. So we had to be really close to be able to do damage to them, and we couldn't even really control range at all because of how many tanglers they had webbing us. But we managed to get through. Let's see, what's the resist profile on these? Their damage, that is. They do majority thermal. Okay. See now, we can see that we've got our resist slightly altered, that we can a bit more biased towards the thermal. Unfortunate that we lost a lot of drones, but rather those any day than our ship. Just sad for our drones. Absolute crap. Look, 14 million, just 0-point condensate is the only thing we're getting, or survey data. I mean, it's alright for a new player, but for someone who's doing T5s and T6s regularly, it's pretty bad. Okay, take out this striking dammer. Destroyed. Okay, let's go to the next room. We can also reload preemptively. I wonder what we'll get here. Deep Watcher waves. Okay, these are pretty easy. We can also go for that extraction node, in fact, because it's so close. Have the drones go for one of the Deep Watchers. That one, for example. We've got a Deviant Automatic Suppressor seems to be attacking him, but I think the Deviant Automatic Suppressor might be out of the range of the Deep Watchers. 7 million, decent. We can also go for these Ephialtises too, since they're already close. I move around towards the Bioadaptive cache. Let's go for that. Triple Deep Watcher wave is a pretty extensive wave. It's like a lot of stuff you need to get through. In the T6s, that's where you find the Quad Deep Watcher wave, the really big EHP room. Let's grab that. Open this up. 5 million. Are you kidding me? We should start shooting. And our ship is not moving at all because it doesn't want to pick up Rex. Come on now. I can press enter actually to grab the Rex now. You can orbit them very close. Maybe 5 kilometers. Oh, our drone's taking a bit of damage. It's a bit sad. Sad that our drones have to take so much punishment. The other 3 were destroyed. The second 2 were just getting annihilated the second they get out of the drone bay. How much armor HP per second do we have now that we use the boosters? 104. 104. Corpum, Corelum. It's a pretty decent amount of decent amount of armor HP per second. Let's see, what is our average HP per second? Say that we have 92 plus 84 plus 37 plus 59 divided by 4. 68 is our resist. Then we'll take 104 divided by 32. 4 divided by 32. Got a 324 HP per second tank. Okay. Maybe we want to go for this one. It's a bit closer. Second Deep Watcher. Let's orbit this third Deep Watcher. Take him out. What time do we have left? 4 minutes. That's pretty good. Okay, there we go. Time to exit this origin conduit. Hopefully there are no ganks here. We saw a Gnosis on the gate when we entered Van Carlen, so there could perhaps be some scanners, because I've often noticed that Abyssal Gankers, they usually aren't using Gnosises to scan for targets. I don't know why. I think it's just because it's a cheap ship, or it's a low skill requirement ship that has good scanning bonuses. Perhaps. Thankfully there's no one here. Okay, good. Great. So, Muninn survived the T5 Dark Abyss. Really powerful ship. It was a pretty sketchy situation when we were against the Kikimoras, but we managed to survive. With how much structure? 60% structure? Yeah, that was pretty deadly, but I was impressed with how powerful we were able to get through anyway. We were applying really well with the dual webs. I was considering in the beginning to think of a fit that could perhaps use a single web with an extra cat battery, but I feel like it might almost, in some situations, like this Kikimora wave, it would have been our downfall, because we didn't have any cap issues. The only issue we had was just killing them as quickly as possible, and we would have probably, very likely, not guaranteed, but very likely would have killed them a lot slower, because we would not be able to use Rage. We'd have to use Caldari Navy with the single web style, killing them a lot slower. I think that then also it would cause us to, just generally speaking, the ghosters, they'll have more effect on us. We're sort of able to counteract the ghosters here because we were able to use the 2 dual webs. They're tracking their like guidance disruptors were not really such a big deal, but when we've got only 1 web, the guidance disruptors are really going to make a big impact to application. It could make, like, when you've got 1 web, it could be the ghosters could be the make or break it to be able to apply or not. Well, I think when you've got 2 webs, it's not going to make such a big of a difference. So I'm not sure. I would like to use a single web, but dual web always seems to be so effective in dark side. So I'm not sure. Probably we just have to bling it more if we want to be a bit more reliable, but it still felt very strong. Very strong it felt. And the time was also pretty good. I mean, we had deep butcher waves and we had no problems with time. So, hope you guys enjoyed Muninn slapping the T5 Dark Abyss. If you did enjoy the video, please leave a like and subscribe. I'll catch you guys later.